Oh, baby, baby, baby. Week 10 is here, and we at the DFS Army Fantasy Football Show are here today with Brandon Adam to talk about our favorite flex plays and sleeper picks on the week. Brandon, brother, we've made it halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Back 9. How we doing?
Oh man, this is the push for the playoffs, guys. This is your trade deadlines. This is when you go all in for dynasty guys. This is when you figure out if you're going all the way in or if you're gonna relax for the next season. So this is the fun part for dynasty owners. I love this part of the year, and I'm a pretty aggressive owner, so I always go for it. Sometimes it's a little bit too overzealous sometimes, but if you don't take the swing, you don't win. So you gotta take swings to win it, and that's my advice for dynasty owners that are on the fringe. Go for it, boys. It's about winning.
There's a saying, Brandon. I'm sure you've heard it. It's that fortune favors the bold.
Yep.
Don't be afraid.
Yep.
Now be smart. So, of course, for our VIP members at DFSArmy.com, we have the Discord. And if you're going to make a trade, just hit us up in the Discord first. We will give you our professional opinions on that trades. But most of the time, when in doubt, if you're getting the best player in a deal, it's worth considering. It's worth considering because, listen, our goal whenever we're doing trading is to improve our starting lineup. So if you can do that, then it's worth considering. This is my favorite time of year because this is where the children become men and women. This is where we make our stand, baby. It's listen, fantasy football is a game of attrition. It's not just the draft at the start of the season. It's getting through these bye weeks. It's grinding the waiver wire. Of course, we've got our waiver wire show every Monday night. This week is actually going to be Sunday night because I'm traveling for work this week, but it's going to be Sunday night. And we talk about some of our players. And a lot of the players that I talk about on that show, we're actually going to be talking about today because the players that we love in the waiver wire are also guys that, hey, listen, when you're looking down the road, maybe these guys have some pretty decent matchups. But Brandon, we got a lot of show to talk about. Let's not bury the lead. Give me your number one flex play on the week.
My number one guy is straight out of Green Bay. His name is the Lizard King, Allen Lazard. This guy is a red zone magnet. They are playing. He's going to be matched up against Travion Diggs of the Cowboys. And I kind of like that because that means they're going to allow Diggs to try and play this guy one-on-one more often than not. I kind of like the fact that he has the size to battle Diggs' size, and he has the ability to get up and go catch the ball over top of Diggs. I feel like he is going to be just dripping with targets. And if you look at last week, he had 3 red zone targets. This guy is their red zone guy. Besides Aaron Jones is going to play. It sounds like he's going to play. Last week when he played against Jeff Okudah, similar type of talent to Travion Diggs, gambler, kind of DB. He had 10 targets. 3 of them were in the red zone for 4 receptions and 87 yards and a tud. So this is the kind of guy that you're going to want, especially at home. Green Bay loves to show up at home. They get hyped at home, and I think Allen Lazard is going to be the guy. And with Romeo Doubs going down, they are going to be forced to give this guy targets. He's going to get double-digit targets once again because I think Green Bay will be trailing in this game. But I do feel Green Bay has some sense of pride. I think Aaron Rodgers has some sense of pride here, and they're at home. I think they're going to keep it somewhat close here, and the only way they're going to be able to do that is that they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit, and it's going to be to Allen Lazard and Bobby Tunyon. But Allen Lazard is obviously the number one guy that Aaron Rodgers trusts in this offense right now. It's just the facts of the situation of Green Bay. We tried to warn everybody about Green Bay this offseason that this was going to happen. We tried to tell everybody, we were right about that. Honestly, if they were in the running, I think Odell Beckham would have been a nice signing for them. But since they are not, Odell will never show up there. So this is going to be the Lizard Alan Lazard show, and I feel like he's going to get in the box this week, especially against an aggressive DB like Diggs. He's going to gamble a lot. So I think Alan Lazard is crafty enough. He's a veteran, and he has that chemistry, so I kind of like him.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting because Alan Lazard, to your point, he is Aaron Rodgers' number one guy, right? Which in past seasons, that meant a lot. But I mean, listen, he has 5 touchdowns on the season, which is 8th in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing also is that what's interesting is, as a whole, the Cowboys generally are more prone to play a zone defense. They play zone about 75% of the time, but Trayvon Diggs will actually shadow almost 50% of the time.
Yep.
So there's a good chance that for the majority of the game, he is going to probably be shadowing Alan Lazard because there isn't much else in that passing game to really do damage. But the one thing we know about Trayvon Diggs is that he's a pick machine, but he also has a propensity to give up these big plays on occasion, right? So that's what we're going to be going for. And then when you bake into the fact that Alan Lazard, for the most part, is one of the he likes to get to deep targets. He's had 15 deep targets on the season. He gets 2 per game, which is number 5 in the league. So despite the fact that Aaron Rodgers, for the most part, doesn't look quite correct, they're still going to want to go deep to Alan Lazard. So I would expect that to continue. And the reality of this game is that the Cowboys know how to put up points, right? Dak Prescott is back. He looks healthy. Michael Gallup is back. He looks healthy. CeeDee Lamb looks good. Tony Pollard, the number 1 running back in that offense. Sorry, Alan Seslowsky. Tony Pollard looked electric when he was a starting running back. Now, we know that Zeke is probably going to play this week. We just hope that the Cowboys use some common sense. Use the better running back. Tony Pollard is a better running back. It's going to still continue to be a committee, but as long as he gets plurality, as we like to say, of those touches, it's going to be a good situation. Alan Lazard, man, he's going to be a smash this week. He's going to be an absolute smash. We got Trey coming in. He said, morning, gents. We got a full PPR question. Jerry Jeudy or Josh Palmer? This one to me is actually kind of easy. I'm leaning towards Josh Palmer. What do you think?
I think it's a Greg Dulcich week for that offense. I think Greg Dulcich has been easily the biggest target Russ has actually been more comfortable with. He's the most comfortable with him, but I'm hoping honestly that the Broncos coming off this bye, they kind of figured out some things. I hope they figured out kind of what they want to be a little bit here. I think Nathaniel Hackett has just been a hack at these play calls have just been awful. And I just feel like they got this quarterback they didn't have a plan how to use. It just seems like they didn't realize how they used him in Seattle, and it's kind of shitty. So I'm going Palmer. I think you're right. I think Palmer is the play here. That's just, I know he hasn't been that great, but I think
Palmer's been getting the targets. He's clearly been the wide receiver 1. We like DeAndre Carter as well. And one of our honorable mentions actually that I've got on the show today is going to be Joshua Palmer and DeAndre Carter. I know they're going up against San Francisco, but San Francisco really hasn't been as stout in the passing game as you would expect. The thing that worries me the most is that, the Tennessee Titans, if Ryan Tannehill, especially if he doesn't go in Malik Willis plays, it's an over under of 38.5. It's in Tennessee. It's going to be a run first type game. It's going to be very, very low volume. Jerry Jeudy has become, unfortunately, the Russell Wilson's number 1 target. I mean, just last week, he had a 29% target share versus Cortland Sutton's 16%.
That's
on the
awful.
Season, I know. On the season, Court still has 24% versus Judy's 21%, but we're starting to see a shift, right? And for anybody who has Cortland Sutton on their team, you've seen the shift. So yes, I like Jerry Jeudy. I don't think either is really, really bad, but in full PPR, man, I'm going Josh Palmer. I'm going for the moon. I want to win my matchup, and I feel like Josh Palmer has a better opportunity to score, get a touchdown, put up 15, 16 points versus Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, he might get targets, but he might go 4 for 50 and get you 9 points. And it's just not going to win you your week.
And Tennessee's good, man. They are missing their big boy down for pass rush, though, this week. That is something to consider. Simmons is out this week. So that is a big missing person in their rotation for pass rush. So there might be a little bit more time for Russ to get the ball out this week than normal, than Tennessee defense is going to be giving up a little bit more this week, I think. But I like Greg Dulcich. I think that's the play.
Greg Dulcich, man, yeah, he's going to be solid. And hey, man, Greg Dulcich has been a pleasant little surprise.
Yes, sir.
Actually, a bunch of these rookie tight ends.
We talked about. I mean, honestly, we talked about this guy, Mike D. He was all over Greg Dulcich early. We talked about it because we were in the chat screaming at each other about Albert O. Because myself and Mike were totally not for Albert O. And we both said that Greg Dulcich will be the tight end 1 by midseason, and that's exactly what happened. So it's just, I just feel like Russ has a chemistry with that guy. So I just feel like that is where you attack this Tennessee defense. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're in concession there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to talk about my first flex player, and
Yes,
this one is absolutely 100% going to be kind of a plug your nose type player. But sometimes you got to plug your nose and just expect those fantasy points to roll in. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Jarvis Landry, who is expected to play, it looks like, coming back. He has been out since week 4 with the ankle sprain.
Nice. Going
up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are abysmal against the slot wide receiver, which Jarvis Landry, for the most part, has played in the slot when he's actually been healthy. 73% of the time he's playing in the slot. Pittsburgh ranks 28th. In terms of D against the wide receivers as a whole, they're not stopping it. And when you look at the actual slot position, they're 4th worst, allowing 16.5 points per week to the slot position. So you bake that in. Do we really, really trust Andy Dalton? Which, again, it sounds like Dalton is going to continue to get the start, which is asinine to me. We've talked
just
about
crazy.
this so much that if they really want to win games, it's going to be from crab legs. It's going to be from Jameis Winston. It's not going to be from Jarvis Landry or from Andy Dalton. Dalton just isn't good. He just isn't good. He is the definition of a backup quarterback at this stage of his career.
Yep.
Is Jameis much better for fantasy football? Yes. For real life football, I would say at least on par. The one thing that he's problem he had early on in his career was the turnovers. But Andy Dalton's a turnover machine right now. He's throwing at least a couple of interceptions every single week. I digress. They're going to push the ball to Jarvis Landry. They need a possession type wide receiver so that they can get first downs. And Jarvis Landry, he's 29 years old. I get it. He's getting up there in his career, but the type of football that he plays is going to be conducive to just moving the chains every single week, getting those first downs, getting into positions to score. And Jarvis Landry is going to be able to do that. So Jarvis Landry this week is a very reasonable PPR flex play.
I like it. I actually like it a lot, and I think you're exactly right. I'm actually going to be throwing him in a lineup or 2 because I need him. I have some major injuries because of Bateman and Cooks. Brandon Cooks, not playing as well as killing me, man. Like that's just I needed that.
It sounds like Cook's going to play, and actually sounds like Nico Collins is going to play as well. So
good.
A couple options in Houston are going to go back, but
nice.
I mean Brandon Cooks. I don't have him as a flex, but where are you at on Brandon Cooks? If he plays, you're starting him, right, for the most part.
Yeah, if he plays, I'm 100% throwing him in there because these guys are professional athletes, man. They got pride, like he was just angry in the fact that he wasn't traded, but hey, man, he was owed $18 million and people didn't want to take on his contract. So, you just got to get over that. Next year, maybe they can move him. Next year he might not be in Houston, but as of right now, he's got to play for that next team, right? So I'm okay with throwing him in lineups. I'm going to. I have to. So I will.
Yeah, and you look at last year. I mean, this year and next year, they cannot cut him because of the dead cap. Even if he adjusts his salary, there's still going to be that dead cap on there, and they're stuck with him, unfortunately. And he's going to be a hard player to trade simply because of the contract, not because of the talent. Not because of the talent. Yeah. No. So if they wanted to seriously move him, they would have had to eat some of that contract, and it just didn't sound like they were willing to do it. But that's just in the words of Mike Florio, dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things. And if you want to just move on, admit that it's going to be a rebuild season, that's what you need to do. But give me your number 2 guy for this week. Oh, man.
We're going to the moon. Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is going against the Civ, Jeff Okudah of the Lions. He's a 54th ranked coverage corner in the NFL as of right now. This guy is giving up massive plays. And with the fact that Justin Fields is getting hot and now the arrival of Chase Claypool, I'm becoming hotter on Darnell Mooney He is becoming a very nice play because think his target rate is 29.2%. That's 12th in the league. His target share is 28.6. That's 11th in the league. He is getting snap shares out of the slot. He's 15th in the league. That stuff excites me. I feel like he's also getting some deep targets. This offense is finally starting to click a little bit here, and I feel like there's some optimism in Bears land, and I think this is a game. We all know that the Lions are terrible on defense, and they are pretty good on offense. So they're going to be able to shoot out with them. And I feel like this is the type of game where Darnell Mooney can actually reach his ceiling game versus his floor games. And this is the kind of it's exciting because last week he got 8 targets, 2 red zone targets. In the last 4 games, he's gotten 5 red zone targets. That's one of the highest on the team. So this is the type of stuff that it's trending towards where we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year here. He's getting these targets. He's pushing almost double-digit targets per game. And, he's an explosive guy. I like how he plays, especially against Jeff Okudah, where he can get over the top of Jeff Okudah, and he has the speed to get down the field for some big plays. And what the Lions are definitely going to be trying to set up stop the run big time against Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery and the rushing ability of Justin Fields. So that's going to open up some of that deeper shot play action plays. And I think we're going to be able to see Darnell Mooney hit on a couple big chunk plays. And maybe one of them will be for a long touchdown here.
So last week, Brandon, against Miami, so Justin Fields, he had his most pass attempts on the season at 28 pass attempts. Of course, he also melted faces. He had 178 rush yards. So he says the quarterback won on the week. I don't know about you, but I definitely played Fields in a few leagues. I played Fields and Mixon in a league, and it's just like tears rolled down my face last week.
Can't do anything about that.
But yeah, man. So the thing I like though is that because they're rushing more, they're also passing more.
Yes.
Last week, Darnell Mooney had 8 targets, which was the second best on the season. He had 12 against Washington a few weeks back, but he had 8 last week. He finished for the first time. He was just on the cusp of finishing as a wide receiver 1. He finished as a wide receiver 13, which was his best finish on the season. He had 17.5 PPR points. Darnell Mooney, it's starting to click. It's starting to click. And again, just like the edict for the season has been player pass catchers against Detroit, right?
Yes.
These are high-scoring games. And listen, it was a bit of a disappointment last week, but you got to continue to do it. And the fact that how quickly things change. The start of the season, the Chicago Bears looked inept. It looked like they weren't coaching to the player. They were trying to just get him into the scheme that they were wanted to manage. They're playing to Justin Fields' strengths. It's opening up the rest of the field. We saw Cole Kmet do it. I'm going to talk about some of my tight end streamers at the end of this show today. Cole Kmet's on that because they're starting to use him. The Chicago offense as a whole is exciting to watch again. The Detroit offense is actually kind of fun. Both teams can put up points. Both teams don't have the best defenses. Those are the types of teams you want or games you want to attack. And I love Darnell Mooney, man. I got nothing bad to say about Darnell Mooney.
And for the game, it's a 48.5 over under. And I mean, Vegas is expecting points here. Yeah. So I love the Bears this week. If I'm doing some DFS stacks, I would definitely do a Justin Fields Mooney stack, run it back with the Sun God, and enjoy your fantasy points.
Enjoy your fantasy points, baby. I'm going to talk about a player that I think is going to score some fantasy points this week. My second flex play on the week is Donovan Peoples-Jones of those Cleveland Browns going up against those aforementioned Miami Dolphins. It's a 49-point over-under. Cleveland is coming off their bye week. But when he did play, he was averaging between 85 to 90% snap share, averaging roughly 6 targets per week. Right now, I would consider him a very viable wide receiver 3 type flex play, like on the season, Donovan Peoples-Jones is. But going up against a team like Miami, where, as we talked about before, they're crappy going up against the receivers, and it's a 49-point over-under. It's the second highest over-under on the slate after the Jacksonville-Kansas City game. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's a monster of a man. He's starting to get the opportunities. I think it's still very much like it's going to be a run-first team. Amari Cooper is going to be the first read, but that second wide receiver is going to be Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I think he's going to produce this week going up against Miami. This is the type of one where even in DFS, if he's a nice cheap option, he's a player worth considering.
Sneaky stuff there. I was actually looking at him a little bit last night, and when we talked this morning, I smiled because I was like, "Yep." It's like we are on the same wavelength. Sometimes it's kind of eerie. Sometimes when we're just sitting there looking at flex plays and figuring out who can have a splash play for our followers, and man, we agree on a lot of stuff.
We got a question from I Hate the NFL. No. We all do because it kills us. Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore this week? What do you think?
I think it's Toney. They traded for him for a reason, man. And I think, he's an explosive guy, and they're gonna expand his package every single week. I would expect his snap rate to go up every single week. Sky Moore is unfortunately getting buried. Like he's getting buried on the depth chart. Juju Smith-Schuster is gonna absolutely smash this week. So if you have him, please don't sit him for anybody. Just lock him in. He has proven to be the number one option in this offense outside of Travis Kelce. Let's just give Juju some credit here. And he's becoming the guy. But Kadarius Toney, they traded for him for a reason. I like it. Toney over Sky Moore for me for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Sky Moore at this point, you can't really start him. Love the prospect. I still think he's going to have a reasonable career. Yeah. Unfortunately, the data does show that if a rookie doesn't at least show something in his rookie season, it lowers his probability to break out. The whole idea of like a second or third year breakout for these wide receivers is actually a bit of a fallacy when you look at the data. So, I mean, I guess the same could be said about Kadarius Toney, but the key thing here is that Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce are the number 1 and 2 reads, right? I would say Kelsey's 1A, Juju's probably 1B. Mecole Hardman is out. Mecole Hardman, he's not a reliable player every single week, but Mecole Hardman is out this week. So that's probably why this question is even a question. You got to go Kadarius Toney. He's magically healthy again. I hate the NFL.
He's magically – it's amazing how fast people get healthy when they get traded. Like, it's fantastic.
When you get traded to go play with the Frog King himself.
I know. It's just nuts. Like, it blows my mind, man. Like, just how they can get away, how NFL organizations can get away with just sitting a guy because they don't like him and just saying, "Oh, he's got a hamstring," because that's what it was. I think it was. I don't think it was the player saying I can't play. I think it was the organization saying, "No, we're just gonna put you on the shelf because we don't like your attitude."
I'm sure it was a bit of both.
Something's going on. Something's going on, but we don't know.
Yeah, usually it's a bit of both. All right, give me your third flex play, brother.
All right, man. We're going to the Raiders. Mac Hollins, man. Mac Hollins is the guy this week against this putrid Indianapolis Colts team. He's going to be lined up against Isaiah Rodgers. Let's just say he's not even ranked in Player Profiler on DBs because he just hasn't played enough. And Mac Hollins, if you look at his opportunity share, He's 8th in average target distance in ADOT with 14.3 yards per attempt. That's 8th in the league. Deep targets, he's 14th in the league with 12 of them. He's getting 1.5 a game. So I'm expecting a long touchdown from him this week. I kind of like his prospects for a long touchdown. Red zone targets, he's got 8 on the season, 4 catches. That's 24th in the league. Target quality rating is 6th in the league. So he's getting some good looks. I just feel with this matchup against Isaiah Rodgers, a nobody really, I think he's going to be able to take advantage of the fact that Hunter Renfrow is out. Waller is out. Adams is going to be getting Stephon Gilmore most of the time. So I feel with Derek Carr and the way he likes to play the game, he's going to find the matchup that is the strongest for his squad, and that's going to be with Mac Hollins. And they're gonna dial up some big plays to Mac Hollins this week. I have a feeling.
Look, so Matt Collins has actually had a pretty solid floor. I mean, you can go back to week 3 where he put up 30 points.
Yep.
But when you look at half of his games, he scored at least double-digit points. I like the fact that, like, Darren Waller hasn't really played much of the season, so you can't really compare with or without Darren Waller.
Yeah.
But I think Hunter Renfrow being out is going to be huge. When you miss a few of those weeks, Matt Collins definitely stepped in as the top dog in that offense. Again, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the Josh Jacobs show. It is every single week. But this week, Matt Collins is going to be. I love that.
They're gonna have some. They're gonna have some play action calls off of Josh Jacobs because they aren't gonna be able to stop Jacobs. Jacobs is gonna. That's a dude I would be smashing in DFS. He would be locked in as an RB2 for me in DFS. And dude, Josh Jacobs has had a monster season. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I wish I had more of them, man. I wish I was higher on him. Everybody was worried about this community back thing with the Patriots, culture of McDaniels, but he's just given Jacobs everything he can handle, and he's had a career year. Like, it's just impressive.
Thing is, though, I mean, like the Patriots have had players that they've completely sat. Like Damian Harris didn't do much in his rookie season either, right? So it's not unusual. No. We like Zamir White as a prospect, the Georgia running back.
You like Zamir White. Don't say we. You.
Okay, I like Zamir White. I still like Zamir White. Zamir White's a stud, man. Zamir White's a stud. When he's given the opportunity, he's going to do very, very well. I got a very, very tough question for you. And I'm not sure which one I'm leaning on this one. We got Jack Terrace coming in. He's saying, "What's up, brothers? How you doing, Jack? What do you think about Christian Kirk going up against Kansas City or Tyler Lockett against Tampa Bay?" I keep going back and forth. This one is very. Can you start both, Jack? Like, who are you starting ahead of these guys?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Both of these guys are starters this week. Tyler Lockett, Brandon, we were talking about this off the show. Number 9 wide receiver on the season, PPR.
Yeah.
You can't sit Tyler Lockett right now. And Christian Kirk has an absolute.
It's right behind him.
Golden matchup. I mean, I'm going to talk about Zay Jones as a deeper flex play because to me, Christian Kirk is an every week starter at this point. Like, you cannot. He had a 29% target share last week. Christian Kirk, he's got Amari Cooper as a wide receiver. Dang, that's tough, man. If you could start one of these guys in your flex, I would. But if I had to choose Tyler Lockett or Christian Kirk, I'm probably leaning Tyler Lockett just because we know what he's going to do.
I agree with you. He's getting quality plays towards, the Seahawks are just putting up points, man. They are a consistent team. They are consistently making big plays. The cool thing about honestly, you can't mess us up. Either one you're good with. Like, seriously, whoever you put in.
Let's take a step back here. So it's being played in Tampa Bay. Does it worry you?
No, it's in Munich. It's in Germany.
Ooh, it's in Munich. You're right. It's in Munich.
It's in Germany.
Early game too. Man, and you know what's actually interesting in terms of total flight time and distance? Seattle's actually a similar distance to Munich, Germany, as Tampa Bay. So that was interesting to me. So neither team has an advantage in terms of the time. Obviously, the time zone is different, right? It's a 3-hour difference in terms of time zone between Tampa and Seattle on the West Coast.
I kind of want to go Kirk.
Kirk
has such a good matchup.
Now I'm tempted to go Kirk. You know what? I'm going back because I don't like international games. They tend. I tend to choose the under on these international games. I worry about the time difference. I know they're there. They've been there for a few days now, but I just you know what? I'm leaning Christian Kirk. I'm taking it back. I'm going Christian Kirk. I like both players. If you can fit somehow both players into your lineup at the flex. Oh damn. Okay, never mind. He's got.
What is it?
Dang. Ken Walker's in this flex. You can't. You're starting
14-man league. You just smashed everybody. Come on, man.
A sick team, brother. You've got a sick wide receiver core, sick deep wide receiver core. That's sick, Jack.
Just understand this: if Lockett goes off and if Kirk doesn't, the process is telling you Kirk.
Yeah.
So I would just be good with either of them. So understand this: like, you're gonna be whatever you choose. It's fine. Like, honestly,
if you look, just look at the numbers, okay? The over-under for the Seattle at Tampa game is 44.5. The over-under for the Jacksonville Kansas City game is 50.5. So, I'm going Kirk. It's just safer.
They're going to be chasing.
Now, it's in Kansas City, which you don't love, but the fact that you're on the road, you're going to have to throw the ball. So, I'm leaning that. I've come full circle. Both are great plays. And
Zay's healthy, so Zay's healthy. Kirk operates out of the slot. I like that a lot against Kansas City. Yeah, let's go Kirk. I'm going Kirk.
Let's go Kirk. All right, we got Harry coming in. Full PPR. He needs to play one in the flex. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Khalil Herbert. What do you think?
Man, these are tight ones. Yeah. So when I was looking at my flex plays, I had in the beginning of my process, I had Wan'Dale and Khalil Herbert as flex plays. I like both of them. Wan'Dale's going to get a workload. He operates out of the slot, so he's not going to get a bunch of Stingley. I just feel like Barkley is going to control this game. This is going to be a Saquon Barkley game, and it's just going to be a monster game for him.
Yes, it's not Khalil Herbert, right? Khalil Herbert just isn't. No. He's getting like a 28% opportunity share.
No,
you just can't play Khalil Herbert. It's too risky. I mean, you're rolling the dice, and it's just low probability. So really, it's between Donovan Peoples-Jones and Wan'Dale Robinson. And I just like the game matchup, Cleveland versus Miami, better for Donovan Peoples-Jones than I do Wan'Dale Robinson. Both are solid, but
I like Wan'Dale.
You like Wan'Dale?
I do. I like Wan'Dale.
We haven't seen it yet, though. We like everything. We like the peripherals, but we haven't seen the production yet. We've seen it with Donovan Peoples-Jones.
You're right, though. I got you, but I just feel like it's coming with Wan'Dale. It's time with the Tony trade. It's obvious that they had a plan for this kid. I just feel like he operates out of the slot where he can take advantage.
When you look at the matchup tool, so if you go to DFSArmy.com, you go to the NFL plays tab at the top, and you go to NFL matchups. It's probably one of my favorite tools that we use. I'm looking here, and you compare the matchup. Wan'Dale Robinson has the 5th toughest matchup on the week. Yeah. It's a whole lot of red versus Cleveland. When you look at Donovan Peoples-Jones, and it's 21. I just don't trust Brissett. 21 best matchup. You just don't trust Brissett. Okay, well, no, it's fair. Listen, we're split here, Harry. I apologize, but we're split. He's going Wan'Dale. I'm going to go Donovan Peoples-Jones. Both are solid plays. We're playing both of them over Khalil Herbert in our flex because Khalil Herbert, you're banking on a touchdown.
It's a dice roll with Herbert. It's a dice roll with Herbert.
It's too risky. Yeah. So I'm leaning to DPJ. Brandon's leaning Wan'Dale Robinson.
I'm probably wrong. So it's probably DPJ.
Here's the thing. You look at the matchup for the running backs. It's the 27th matchup. I.e., it's a lot of green for Saquon Barkley. It's going to.
I know he's going to. So I'm hoping. I feel like when they get close into the red zone area, that's where Wan'Dale can sneak into the box. I think because his ADOT's not super high, so he can run those tight routes along, right outside the goal line, and he can sneak in on a play action and get some kind of like Julian Edelman type of little option route. Like he can do that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
I have more confidence that Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to be more active part of the offense than Wan'Dale Robinson is. They're gonna run first, even though the Giants are a middling team. They're 21st in terms of pass attempts, so you're still getting a reasonable number of pass attempts at 27 a game. I'm leaning towards Donovan Peoples-Jones. We're split. It's all good. We're good. All right. Okay, we got a few more. Then we're gonna do our final flex plays of the day, and we'll call it a day. Okay. We got Flex Lord Chino. Ooh, I like that name. Hey, guys, wondering if I should trade away Sanders for Olave. Is that Miles Sanders, I'm guessing, for Chris Olave? Or Ramondre for Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson? I really need a wide receiver 1, high wide receiver 2, and Ramondre and Sanders are both my RB. Oh, my God. 3 and 4. So I'm probably going to be keeping Ramondre Stevenson over Miles Sanders. So if you can get – but you're not getting enough. Like Chris Olave is not enough for Miles Sanders. So if you can get Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson for Ramondre Stevenson, that to me is the better offer. If I can trade away Miles Sanders and get somebody more that can contribute more than Chris Olave, like I love Olave, but he's not good enough to trade away Miles Sanders for. But if you can get Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson, to me that's the play, especially considering your running back 3 and 4. So that's sick. I love that. Rest of season playing. He needs a wide receiver 3, right? I'm guessing, right?
That's what he's. I think that's what he's looking at. He has too many. He has a surplus of RBs here. I like that. Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson. If you can get both of those guys,
it's the better trade. Easy. I would rather trade away Miles Sanders and Ramondre Stevenson because Stevenson looks beastly, but Yeah, I mean, it's a better haul.
Stevenson's going to end up finishing out a top 7 RB on the season. Like he's just getting everything.
Zach Wilson hates Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore
Hates
literally is running circles around Zach Wilson, doing absolutely
Wind
squat.
sprints.
He's just running wind sprints out there. It's
It's
horrible. Garrett Wilson's the guy in that offense. So you're getting 2 productive players. Mike Evans is a dog. Chris Godwin's going to improve. He hasn't gotten into the box yet this year. It's going to happen.
I don't know. I think Sanders for Olave is fine, to be honest.
Do you?
I do. I mean, what is Sanders on the season? What's he at right now? I don't have a lot of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of Sanders in my repertoire here.
On the season, Miles Sanders is the running back 18. He's got 14.6 PPR points per game. Whereas, so 14, and then Olave is. I mean, Olave.
I would do that deal. I would do that.
They're literally. You would. He's wide receiver 16 on the season at 14.6. So I mean, it's an even.
It's an even trade.
He's got Dalvin Cook and Travis Etienne as his RB1 and 2. Receivers are Pittman, Almond-Ross, St. Brown, Boyd, Deontay. Okay. So good news about Deontay Johnson is consolidated target share now, and Pittsburgh has one of the easiest passing or schedules for wide receivers down the stretch. So Deontay hopefully is going to turn around for you. Michael Pittman, man, rest in peace. This whole Sam Ehlinger debacle is just it's sad. It's embarrassing, but
what do you think about about this? What do you think about this new hiring of Jeff Saturday? That's pretty
fucking horrendous. Off the street. It's laughable. It's a disrespectful to the game. It's one of the worst hires I've ever seen. Jim Irsay was one of the most vocal guys against Stan Slander, which I loved and I respected. But we forget, like, Jim Irsay isn't exactly an angel himself. He's done some stupid things in his past. These freaking billionaires, man. And then he, like, the gall to be able to look his coaching staff, his players in the face and say, yeah, Jeff Saturday was the best choice for our team. And you know what, guys? Screw Matt Ryan. I don't care if he's the better opportunity for us to win, even though he's done it in the NFL. Sam Ehlinger has done nothing. He looks like a backup, maybe not even an NFL caliber backup running quarterback. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. I'm sorry, Indianapolis Colts fans. It's embarrassing that Michael Pittman
sucks.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But yeah, okay. Listen, Flax, to put a bow on this, I like the haul you're getting of Mike Evans and Garrett Wilson for Ramondre, but I have a really hard time trading away Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with you to trade away Miles Sanders for Chris Olave. It's a completely lateral move. It's fine.
It is.
Chris Olave is as good as Pittman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deontay Johnson. So to go and get like that solid wide receiver 1, that's Mike Evans. But depth at the running back position is key, and
it's
Dalvin
tough,
Cook really,
especially this year.
I would rank Ramondre Stevenson over Dalvin Cook on a weekly basis. I would start him
every week.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. So keep Stevenson. Keep Stevenson. He's a league winner, boys.
All right, yeah. Keep Stevenson flex. I love that name, Flex Lord Chino. That's sick. All right, we got Jack coming in here. He's got Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert QB. I mean, yeah. Listen, Herbert has disappointed. Is what they like the quarterback 13 on the season.
It's not his fault,
man. It's
really not his fault.
Wide receivers. They're not. The biggest thing is that the Chargers, when you compare what they're doing different this season versus last season, obviously they don't have Keenan Allen. Obviously they don't have Mike Williams. Okay, so what's different? 2 number 1 wide receivers in the league aren't on the team. That's going to matter, but they don't have the ability to push the ball down the field. Josh Palmer's healthy again. He is a reliable player. DeAndre Carter, I like him as a slot player, but he has too many damn drops. Like DeAndre Carter just isn't.
He's not a starter.
Yeah, he's not. He's a backup slot wide receiver. That's what he is. So it's tough, but I mean, it's all about who your options are. If Jameis Winston comes back, Jack, I'm still gonna rock Justin Herbert. You can't just trust Jameis Winston. Yeah. So yeah, it's more of a comment, but trust the process with Justin Herbert.
It's interesting.
Yeah, when he does throw 40 plus a game, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Brandon, give me your one last flex play on the week, and then I'll give you mine, and we'll get the hell out of here.
I'm going back to the Green Bay game. Tony Pollard, please start him. This guy is trending in the correct direction that everybody thought was going to happen with this backfield here. I know Zeke is possibly coming back. It doesn't matter. From what per the coaches, they have a specific amount of snaps they want to give Tony per game because they feel like that is his workload that maximizes his talent. And I'm good. I'm okay with that. They have a good pace. They're 10th in the league with 28 plays per game, run plays per game. That's well enough to be able to support Tony Pollard and Zeke. I just feel Tony Pollard is just turning on, man. If you look at his last couple games here, his last 2 games, he's gotten 59% of the snaps, 54% of the snaps. That's the highest of the season. I don't think it's going to change even with Zeke coming back because if Zeke comes back now, I don't think he's completely healthy yet still. I still think he's kind of pushing it to get back because he sees what's happening here with Pollard. I feel like I think he sees and feels that pressure, and he sees the talent that Pollard is out there with. I mean, he's averaging 6.2 yards per carry, highest of his career right now. Green Bay is just not good at defending the run. They're 21st in the league against the run. So this is the game that it's going to be a cold weather game, and the run is what you lean on in the cold weather. And Tony Pollard is just becoming that guy for the Dallas Cowboys, and I love him. I think he's a must start in all my flexes. If I have him anywhere, I'm starting him. I just feel like he has the explosiveness, explosiveness to finish.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Brandon. If you have Ezekiel Elliott, are you starting Zeke?
I think you have. Right? I think you have to, because most of where you took Zeke, you're going to have to. Yeah, I think you're going to have to. But I mean, fair. It's just don't expect him to crush it because he's not. He's just going to be an average guy that's going to give you 12 points, maybe. That's what he's going to give you. He's not going to give you those 25-point monsters. He's just not going to do that for you anymore.
I'm looking at our projection model, and PPR points, Zeke is projected to get 12.38 points, and Tony Pollard is expected to get 11.63. So it's going to be 50-50. That's the only thing that worries me just a little bit. But Tony Pollard, I think, on the season, moving forward, he should be the RB1 in that team. So you look on this season, rush share, Zeke is 48.44%. Tony Pollard is 36%. I think it's going to flip-flop a little bit. I think it's going to be Tony Pollard as the RB1. He's going to be the guy getting the early down touches. Zeke Elliott might be that goal line vulture. And the roles are going to change. But right now,
what I love about Pollard is his breakaway run rate is 3rd in the league at 11.1%. This guy can bust off chunk yards, man, and he has a good juke rate. Yards per touch is 3rd in the league, 6.7 yards per touch. It's obvious in the numbers what guy is the most explosive back, and that even though they have a projection of the similar deal, the upside of Pollard is there, whereas with Zeke it's not.
Here's the $1 million question that I have for you, Brenton, right now. Okay,
sure.
$1 million question. Hey, Jen, how you doing? Thank you for jumping on the show. My question to you is Mike McCarthy a shark? When blood's in the water, do you think he's going to just put his boot on the throat of the Green Bay Packers and say, you know what? The revenge game is here. I don't care for a 40-20. We're going to keep pounding the gas. Or do you think he's going to be a coward? They get up by 2 touchdowns and they're just going to coast.
He's a coward.
What do you think?
He's a coward.
That's not what I wanted to hear. Come on,
he's a coward. I'm just trait wise, he's not that killer, dude. He is not. Yeah. And when you actually, I was listening to some of his presser this week, and when he was talking about Green Bay, the dude was almost choking up talking about Green Bay, man. I think he wishes he was still in Green Bay. I just feel like he has that soft spot towards that area and that deal. And I don't think he's going to try and embarrass them for, moving on from him. If that's what you're getting at, I don't think he's going to do that. But I feel like his team is good enough that he's going to embarrass the team anyways. So the Cowboys should smash these guys.
They should destroy them. They should embarrass them.
They should.
Hey, I got. You want a tough one? One tough one. Then I'm going to do my flex play. Okay.
Okay.
Are you flexing? This is Tag's Tags 84.92. Tags, what's going on? Flex Jamal Williams or Darnell Mooney to pair him with Justin Fields. I'm still going Jamal Williams here. Yeah.
No, I'm going Mooney.
Woo,
DeAndre Swift has no injury designation this week for the first time. Okay? DeAndre Swift was in the press all week saying, I don't understand why I'm not getting my carries and why I'm not getting the touches that I want. So I think he is telling the coaching staff, it's time to give me my workload. It's time to rush in. Swift is going to explode.
Swift season, baby. We're back.
Yes.
We're back.
It's back. It's back. It's back. He has no tag, man. I think it's on. I think it's fine. Jamal Williams definitely can go get in the end zone and get one of those, goal line, opportunities. But I think Swift is going to get his workload. He's going to be much closer to the workload that we saw in the beginning of the year than he was last week. He's pissed off, man. I'm telling you, he was telling the coaches, man, give me the ball.
I love a pissed off DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I love it. Okay, well then, listen, I was originally going to say Jamal Williams, but yeah, I can see Darnell Mooney. I think both are going to have a good opportunity. Mooney in this game. Let's go, man. Let's be all in. Let's just fuck it. Let's go Chicago
to
Bears,
the moon,
baby. Chicago Bears to the moon. The moon man himself. Okay, I'm going to close out the show with a story. Okay, let this be said to the little people out there: when you are kicked and when you're down and out, all you need is that spark, that glimmer of hope. Because when Christian McCaffrey was traded to the San Francisco 49ers, Jeff Wilson thought his season was over. That was it. You can't trade the best running back in the league and still expect to have production. But I say, nay, sir. For Mike McDaniel said, no, I want Jeff Wilson on my team. I want him to be a Dolphin. And what does he do, Brandon? The first week as a Miami Dolphin, he outsnaps and he outproduces Raheem Mostert, the incumbent, the usurper himself. Jeff Wilson has come to town and said, this is my backfield, baby.
Yep.
Jeff Wilson this week is, I think, going to be a very viable flex play. Trending up. Jeff Wilson, what do you say, brother?
I was another symmetry emotion here, man. We were talking about it last night, and I brought up Jeff Wilson. You said this is one of my names as well, and I think we both saw the writing on the wall during the game. It's obvious that he was the more explosive back. Mike McDaniels has a comfort with him because of him coming out of the Niners system. He knows exactly what he can call for Jeff Wilson, and it was obvious when he outsnaps the incumbent the first week after a trade. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen that often, guys, unless that coach is super comfortable. And Mike McDaniel is the GOAT play caller. I love this guy. I think he is so goddamn refreshing for fantasy football because he makes sure the stars get the ball. And he schemes it up, and he has a plan for each player he has on his squad. He gets them in the positions to be successful. And Jeff Wilson is one of his guys, man. He knows them. So I was hoping that it wasn't going to be that way, but it is.
It is. Sometimes common sense prevails, right?
Yeah.
It seems very, very obvious. Get your best players the ball. And guess what? Mike McDaniel has a tendency to do that. Jeff Wilson, and for my money, is better than Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert, he's great, but everything that we see, it's one game, so it's not quite a trend. But going up against this week, I love Jeff Wilson. Okay, we got one last question. Then I'm going to tell you some of my notable mentions. Actually, we got two now. Then we're going to get the hell out of here. So we got Tags coming in again. Should he start Rondale Moore over Michael Pittman or Chris Olave? I'm going Chris Olave here, right?
Olave, 100%.
Yeah. Go Olave. 100%. He's just so damn consistent. He's defined role in that offense, and it's just safe at this point. Honestly, I start Michael Pittman because I have to start Michael Pittman in my more competitive leagues. But do I like it? No. I mean, Sam Ehlinger is incompetent. He's not a good quarterback. Period. Okay, Chris Smith coming in. Last question: what two wide receivers to start? Cortland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, Josh Palmer, Jarvis Landry, or Terry McLaurin? Going up against Philly on Monday night. So for me, I'm still going to lean Terry McLaurin. I don't like Cortland Sutton. Probably Josh Palmer we like. This is tough, man. Like, honestly, Terry
This is
McLaurin is the most yeah. Terry McLaurin is starting for sure. And then I'm probably leaning Brandon Cooks. I'm leaning Brandon Cooks here. But do I love it? Not really. It's going to be tough.
I hear you. You know, all like if you look at projections, it's probably telling you Sutton because like what 95% of fantasy football players do is they look at the projections. They all look at projections, and Sutton probably has a nice fat projection. It's just I think it's a facade, though. I don't think it's real.
Not really. Listen, we have so the tools here. If we're looking at our projections, the PPR points for Cortland Sutton about 12 points. Compare that to Brandon Cooks. He is at 12 points as well. So it's a bit of a push.
I'm going Cooks.
Yeah, I'm going Cooks here. So we're going Terry McLaurin. We're going Brandon Cooks. Chris, good luck, brother. We like Josh Palmer, but it's just we're playing the probabilities here, and those guys are more likely to score more fantasy points, which is what it's all about. So
understand the Eagles are a beast, though. Like Eagles are tough, but Terry's a damn good route runner. He can get free.
Yeah, I mean Sutton does get to targets, but are they good quality targets? Is Denver any good at this point? Like you look at just last week. Okay, let me pull up these numbers again. So they were on bye last week, but 2 weeks ago, Jerry Jeudy had a 29% target share. Cortland Sutton had a 16% target share. This was against Jacksonville in London 2 weeks ago. On the season, yes, Cortland Sutton has 24% target share versus Judy's 21%, but we're starting to see the shift. And just anecdotally, you watch these games, and it's Jerry Jeudy that Russ is starting to take more of a liking to. And look, we saw that he did lean more towards Tyler Lockett than he did DK Metcalf, which was infuriating sometimes, right? These larger wide receivers sometimes would just disappear. They would have insanely boom weeks. Yes, Cortland Sutton has that in his range of outcomes, but you look at Brandon Cooks, and Nico Collins is back, but he's still the only game in town. It's close. Listen,
Nico Collins
if you decide to play Cortland Sutton, it's not a bad idea. But if it's me and I'm starting on my team, I'm leaning Brandon Cooks over Cortland Sutton. Is it close? Yes. Could Cortland Sutton put up 30 points? Of course he could, right? Russell Wilson isn't bad all of a sudden, but maybe he's not healthy. Maybe there's just dysfunctional. Maybe they didn't have that chemistry that you would have hoped and expected. They're coming off the bye week, so maybe they can get things right this week. But
I think Hackett gets fired and Sean Payton becomes the Broncos head coach.
Yeah, and they're going up against Tennessee, and Tennessee is they're not good on offense, but they're very, very good on defense. I think they're going to give Denver a lot of problems. I love the player Michael Pittman. I don't trust playing Michael Pittman. I love Cortland Sutton as a player. I don't trust playing Cortland Sutton as a player right now. At least we think like Brandon Cooks is going to get the opportunity. But if you go Sutton, I'm not going to hate you for it. No. I wouldn't do it, but it's completely reasonable. It's completely logical. The thing that's illogical and the thing that's unreasonable is Nathaniel Hackett. Oh yeah, Jen, go back and watch the replay. We got a lot of fire on the show, so thank you. We appreciate you jumping on. That's it, Brandon. Let's end it there, man. We got a really good week. It's a really big week coming up. Thank God it's not the Buy-Me-Get-In. Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
McDaniels, give him some more time. Maybe McDaniels, Josh McDaniels.
He's not a he's not a leader of men.
Maybe he's just a really, 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 really good offensive coordinator and just not a good leader of men. Unfortunately, that's what it's starting to look like. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry. Remember,
it's bad.
Remember when the division
too much talent.
Remember when at the start of the season the AFC West was going to be the division, the buzzsaw division,
right?
Isn't quite turning into that.
Yeah. Remember when I said the Raiders would win the division?
Yeah.
like what the hell? Like honestly, like they just got the best wide receiver in the league. They have one of the best tight ends in the league. Derek Carr should have took a massive step forward, but I don't understand it. Like that whole division is such a weird paradox. It's just weird.
We could have an entire show talking about that division, but this week, listen, Brandon, for those of you who are new to the DFS game, go to dfsarmy.com. We have a lot of free content out there. But if you want to dabble in the sweet art that is DFS fantasy football, go to dfsarmy.com/free-offer. All the instructions. You can get a free month of DFS Army VIP membership. Come chat with us in the Discord. Come talk gamemanship. Come talk strategy with us. That's what we like to do. If you have start set questions, you can't do it live in the show. That's what we're here for. So come check it out. Brandon and I are going to be here for the rest of the season. Good luck in week 10. Brandon, one last thing for the people.
Sun God week incoming. Sun God is going to have a massive game. He's going to massive.
And I would be remiss to say, and shame on us for not saying this, Brandon. Yesterday was Remembrance Day in Canada, and I believe it was Memorial Day in the U.S.
No, it's Veterans Day.
It's Veterans Day. Okay, so Veterans Day in the U.S., Remembrance Day here in Canada, November 11th. Brandon, you are a veteran. You have sacrificed a lot for your country and for, frankly, safety in the world. So thank you so much for your sacrifice. To my grandpa, who is a 97-year-old World War II veteran, thank you. He's still alive. He's still healthy. He's still kicking it. Grandpa, thank you for helping us have the opportunity to do a fantasy football show. Thank you for all the veterans out there for allowing us to talk about fantasy sports when right now the world is a scary place. And it's because of people like you, Brandon, and all the veterans out there that we're able to live the lives we live. So thank you so much. We will not forget. We'll never forget. Thank you so much. So from DFS Army, we appreciate you. So with that, for Brandon, I'm Flex Shane, and we are the DFS Army Fantasy Football Show.